Shout out to each and every one. Shout out to the Most High God. Fight fans all around the world. We're going to talk some boxing. So, in Pound for Pound Boxing Report, I was listening to a certain gentleman break down Anthony Yarde's technique and his defense and stuff. And one of the things he said is that he drops his shoulder too low so that you can counter over the shoulder. No, that's actually a stance where you're leaning in on your opponent. And I'm actually going to demonstrate a couple things through this video here, 5th round stoppage of Travis Reese by Anthony Yarde. I'm going to show you a couple of things that Anthony Yarde is actually doing so you would understand what's really going on in this little progression here. Alright? So this is like a breakdown, a little study, a little fight study here of what Anthony Yarde's doing. So you can see right now he's leaning in, his shoulders dropped, but that doesn't mean anything. This is virtual distance he's actually using. He's a big, powerful guy because he's much bigger than Travis Reed. I'm going to show you in slower motion, alright, so you understand what's going on. So here the fight begins, and Yarde is being first here. He's going to actually throw a jab, as you can see here, and he's going to throw it to get through Travis Reed's defense. See if Reeves will be quick enough to block it. Okay, so Travis Reed counters with his jab, but this is called, the stance of Travis Reed is such that when Travis Reed moves forward, he's actually out of the plane of the jab that's coming at him. So as Anthony Yarde throws the jab, he misses Travis Reed. This is called inbuilt defense. It's something Floyd Mayweather, even Anthony Yarde has, and a number of other fighters. You took Andrew Ward, etc. Andrew Ward still gets popped down the center line though. All right, and this is because of the stance of both fighters. Called remote footwork, where the both fighters are actually in a different plane. The upper body's in a different plane to the lower body. Okay, let's just keep moving. Now you see Travis Reed actually head controlling Anthony Yarde. So Travis Reed now is pivoting Anthony Yarde because he's got his forearm on Anthony Yarde's head. And this is a typical thing that happens in boxing. People say that Floyd Mayweather, he's the guy that does that a lot. No, a lot of boxers do that. They head control. Even Vasily Lomachenko. Up to very recently, I'm trying to remember what fight it was I was looking at. I think Arslan Dilar did it to Brian Castano. Anyway, let's keep it moving. And that's why Travis Reese was able to catch him with a hook on the side of his head, but Anthony Yarde's a pretty tough guy. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is Anthony Yarde is keeping range and distance, but he's also using pivots as he moves in to Travis Reese. And he's inching in very slowly, very quietly. And Travis Reese now, he's going to back off to try and maintain distance. Travis Reed throws a punch, and again, the same thing we were talking about, virtual stance. It looks like Anthony Yarde would get hit, but actually he has inbuilt defense. So even though his shoulders drop to goad this guy into throwing a punch, the guy's actually going to miss him. It looks like his head's in line with the punch, but once again, he misses. So Travis Reed and Anthony Yarde, they both have an inbuilt defense. But Anthony Yarde, he does as if he's going to throw a jab, but really going to throw a hook. He feints as if he's going to throw a jab, and he throws a hook instead. So while Travis Reese, all Anthony Yarde did was get into normal stance. So like, okay, I don't know if all of this is not, I don't know if it's making sense to you, but his upper body is in a different plane to his lower body. So when he pivots his upper body into the plane with his lower body, he actually therefore moves away from the jab. So that's what really is happening. It's kind of like he's rolling a punch. And while he's doing that, if you throw an offensive punch with that, you get a hook. You understand? So that's the trick. So when these guys are standing, let me back it up a little bit. So when these guys are standing, like he's inching into him and he's inching into him, right? You will see that his upper body is actually more in this plane than his lower body, which is in this plane. You see? So when the punch comes, all he does is rotates his torso into the plane where his feet are, and he's out of the line. He's out of line with the punch. That's what actually happened. It's called remote footwork. Watch it here. See? He just turns his body. Now the nice thing about it is Travis Reed, there's so much shit going on here. Travis Reed, he pivots as he was throwing the first shot. So he's able to do a jab to the stomach. He just pivots slightly, and that's why I tell you pivot work is everything. It changes the angle of approach. So whereas Travis Reed straight on with Anthony Yarde, he couldn't hit Anthony Yarde in the plane he was in. By just a slight pivot, he could stab him to the pit. That's why pivot work is everything in boxing. I'm going to show you it again. And by the way, at the same time, Anthony Yarde caught him with a hook. So watch it again. Boom. It was a little check hook. Okay. And he missed the first punch. Then because he pivoted with the check hook, he was able to stab him to the pit right here. So all that shit goes on in boxing. And he throws another jab. And he throws another punch. Both of them are going to miss the plane because now Anthony Yarde keeps that shoulder up. You see him lean back or snap back as he's pivoting. Keeps the shoulder up now, so you have to go over the shoulder. So it's mostly just hitting the shoulder. So now, Travis Reeves, he starts circling Anthony Yarde. You saw him, as we say, shuffle. Not quite a bounce, it's a shuffle. So he shuffles now as he's circling Anthony Yarde to his weak side, away from his power hand, which is the way you do it. And now he feints as if he's going to come into Anthony Yarde, but he throws the jab on the spot. It's really interesting. There's a lot, man, I tell you, boxing is something that, as you go shot by shot, you realize just how complex boxing is and how skilled these guys are. So he throws the jab just to see how far away he is. And he pulls back. Now he's doing as if he's coming in, and he actually comes in. So the feint the first time was to set up him coming in on Anthony Yarde. Notice he comes in, pivots out. Anthony Yarde, to be able to buffer that, he goes with the punch, he goes down, he dips as he's moving backwards. That takes a lot, trust me, it takes a lot of skill to do what these guys are doing at the top level. So he's going to attack Anthony Yarde again. So body language and everything is showing that. Anthony Yarde is ready for the challenge. Notice he's lift the shoulder up. He's got his guard here. He got the shoulder and he got the guard just in case he wants to hook or jab him. And then beautifully, now this guy's out of position. Beautifully, he just a minor slip back. The front foot stays in position. The back foot moves back. He leans back a bit because he's in virtual distance. The guy falls short, and now here comes the counter. Whoa, the other guy, he throws a body shot, but again, the shoulder area, he might have gotten around the elbow. Might have. He's going to throw another combination to the body. No, it's too close. He's going to push him back. My only thing was this, right? But you got to be in the ring to see all the subtleties. And there's a lot more subtlety going on because you got to understand Anthony Yarde is going to see when we're too far away to see all the subtleties, but Anthony Yarde would be seeing Travis Reeves feint him one way, feint him if he's going to do something else, and then he comes through with something else. So there's a lot of subtleties we're not seeing unless we are up close and personal with the two fighters. We will not really see that stuff. That's why I slowed it down so you guys can actually see all these subtleties that these guys do. All right. It's all about being in balance. So Anthony Yarde is pretty much in balance here. And Travis Reeves, he's in balance right now. Notice he's leaning in. This is virtual stance. He's leaning into Anthony Yarde. So if Anthony Yarde was to throw a punch at him, he could always snap back on the pivot and get out of the way of the shot. And the old school boxers, they used to really do excessive movement. So you would see them bend themselves this way and then bend themselves that way out of the plane. But with this particular stance, all right, you're not really in the plane. Because if he snaps into the stance he's at, he'll be out of the alignment of the shot. You see, right now he's in line with the shot. But if he turns his torso this way, which would be clockwise, into his lower body, he's now out of the shot. And that's the trick to it. That's the trick with boxing. Anyways, let's keep it moving. So Anthony Yarde is now advancing to him, but he's in balance. Everything he's leading into him, but it's a deception. And this guy is circling Anthony Yarde. He's on a pivot. He's circling Anthony Yarde, but he's maintaining distance as well. Hopefully he calculated it correctly because Anthony Yarde, there he is. So he calculated it correctly, right? The only problem is the angle he's at is actually one in which Anthony Yarde could tag him. Even if he rolls into, I think. But Anthony Yarde right now, notice he's still within balance. Anthony Yarde didn't throw a punch which is beyond his front foot, leaving him out of balance for this guy to counterpunch him. All right. Got to be defensively responsible. So what Anthony Yarde did is he threw a lead right, which in this case, this lead right is not to hit Travis Reeves, but it's a feeler, just like if he were to throw a jab. But he decided to throw it at a different angle to get a feel on it. Notice both boxers are in balance. It's important to be in balance as they're turning. This is beautiful stuff. I mean, but anyway, let's keep it moving. Now he throws a jab, which Travis Reeves is going to block. Oh, actually he didn't block. He tried to hook off of it. And this brings the boxers very close together because Anthony Yarde, he stepped in. He didn't move his back foot, but he stepped in with the punch. Travis Reeves now going to try and hook him, I think. Throws the overhand right. Notice the overhand right misses. And then Anthony Yarde, from that posture, pull counters him. I think he might miss him as well. Or he might hit him. He missed him. Right. He wasn't as accurate. Now this guy, he might even be able to hit Anthony Yarde if that's what he's doing. I don't think that's what he's going to do. Oh, he did. He hit him. He jabs and steps away because he wanted to use the jab there. And he really steps away. Anthony Yarde hits him with a straight right and then a left hook. I think he guarded the left hook. And that's a nasty, I don't know what that is. That's not an uppercut. But he caught him with a shot right there. Nice and clean. Notice how close together they are. This guy is out of position. Anthony Yarde got the T angle on him. So Anthony Yarde can hit him. He cannot hit Anthony Yarde. He's at a T angle right now. Anthony Yarde now uses the forearm. He just rests the forearm to head control the guy to keep him off of him. The guy's trying to clinch up. Anthony Yarde's trying to make distance so he can get the shot in. There it is right there. And again, you're not really pushing with the forearm on the guy. You're just resting the forearm. It's kind of like you lock the guy in position so he can't go any closer. Pull counter. Beautiful. I wanted to show you how you have to be in balance to do this. So that's a pull counter he just did. Alright, so here you have to be in balance. You're pushing off the back foot. Most of the pull counter is coming off the pivot of the front foot. All his weight is going to be transferred to the front foot. But remember, after you've countered, you have to be in balance to stay on both feet. You don't want to roll over. And if you're even barely rolling over, then you have to pivot out the way so that you don't get a counter with the straight right. So watch it again. So he's leaning in, setting up the pull counter. Look at his back foot. He's ready to spring load that back foot. All right, and the other guy, he just didn't see what was happening. Notice he's out the plane as well, out of the plane of the guy. If the guy shoots a straight right, he's going to miss. If he throws a jab, it's going to miss. And truly, the jab misses. He pulls. Beautifully executed, by the way. And then he counters over the top of the guy's jab. And he's going to follow it up with a hook, I'm assuming. There it is. Then he comes with some hooks. So there's a time when you actually hook up opponent, and there's a time when you don't hook opponent. But anyway, Anthony Yarde executes this pretty nicely. Again, he uses the forearm just to keep the guy in position. He's not pressing down on the guy. Just to head control him so he could get the overhand right on him. And he did. This fight's almost over. Caught him with an overhand right, but it hit the shoulder. And there it is. The fight's over. Alright, so the only thing I thought was Anthony Yarde gave the guy a little too much respect to carry it to 5 rounds. I thought that he could have gotten him out of there because he sized him up by around round 2. And I thought, okay, this fight needs to end. So by round 3, I think he did it 2 rounds too late. But better safe than sorry. So I thought he was playing it really safe. People noticed he wasn't as crashing the guy. He wasn't as reckless. He was much more, he was taking this guy seriously. So he took an extra 2 rounds to get him out of there. But by and large, as you can see at this level, there's a lot of subtle things that guys do in the ring. And that's why it's a top tier, high level boxing. Alright? So I just wanted to share that with you guys so you guys could see all the intricacies and what's happening. And I just wanted The gentleman who was on Pound for Pound Boxing Report was talking about Anthony Yarde's shoulder was dropped. No. That's standard fundamental stuff. I can show you. Arislandi Lara does it. Floyd Mayweather does it. That's standard stuff in boxing with these kinds of slick boxers. All right. Anthony Yarde was physically bigger than the guy, but he used his skills to get the guy out of there, and that's important to understand. Physical size is great, but really it's your boxing skill that gets you by. And Anthony Yarde used his boxing skills. He did exceptionally well with this guy. I mean, the guy was nothing special, but nonetheless, it's a step up for Anthony Yarde. You know what I mean? Now, he's supposed to face Sergey Kovalev, right? He's supposed to. And obviously, any young fighter calls out the big names. That's what they're supposed to do. Whether they're ready or not, they're going to call him out. Anthony Yarde, he still has some work to do before he can face a guy like Sergey Kovalev. Even though I got to say, I fancy his chances against Kovalev as is now. But he hasn't faced, I don't think he's faced the level of competition to step up and face Kovalev. But if the need comes for him to step up and face him, I'm sure he will. He's a fighter, so he would do it. I just think that he's going along pretty well. They're moving him along a little slowly, but that's all right. I think he should continue to develop before he faces Sergey Kovalev, honestly speaking. But I'm just showing you guys what boxing's all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. You guys have a great